Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here, and today I'm going to be continuing my series where I show you all my builds. This is going to be all my engineers, so let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start with the humans, of course, and there's two different humans, so you can have two different builds. The soldier, the only thing I don't like about having two different builds for the soldier is that I'm just not a fan of concussive shot, where for the engineer, I do like to have two different builds. That way I can use combat drone on one and I can not use combat drone on another one. So, I don't know, that's the way I look at it. Now for the weapons, I really do like the collector SMG on this guy because you use a lot of powers, so you don't really run out of ammo all that much. But there's a lot of great weapons. I also like the Scorpion. Don't think that I'm recommending two guns. I just displayed two guns for you. Because you should only use one gun on this guy. You want your power recharge to be good. Scorpion is pretty amazing for him because you can apply incinerate ammo to that, shoot an enemy, overload him, get a fire explosion, or incinerate him and get a fire explosion. So the Scorpion is really good on him. And you can also use the Harrier, the Lancer, the Hurricane. There's a lot of great guns. It just really is up to you. Alright, now for this build I don't go for combat drone, but I do like incinerate and overload. That's pretty much the focus of this guy. Where the other one will use combat drone, this person will just use incinerate and overload, and he'll have the full fitness, so he's a little bit more durable. That's the real combo here. Is incinerate overload is a really good combo. Combat drone is nice though. I mean, if you've seen my Volus Mercenary, you know that combat drone is pretty good. Alright, for incinerate, I do recommend radius. Just because, well, incinerate does set up fire explosions, and with radius you can hit two targets. It does happen quite a bit. The radius isn't that big, but you'd be surprised. A lot of times you'll see two enemies just really close to each other. You hit them with it, boom, you got them set up. Burning damage, it's great. It lasts for, well, it just does more damage over time, so that's good. And it will, as the longer they're burning, the longer chance you have of blowing them up and getting the fire explosion. Armor damage, that's pretty obvious. Freeze combo, I still don't recommend this. Even if you have, like, honestly, even if you have Cryoblast, Snap Freeze, I still don't recommend freeze combo. I really can't. I don't like it. I like the armor damage, just to be blunt about it. Alright, now for overload, I go for the triple chain on this guy. His purpose is to set up his own fire explosions, which he can, and also just to detonate cryo explosions, fire explosions, just be able to detonate every explosion, or tech explosion. And it's great. Triple chain overload is amazing if you're playing with like a Geth Trooper and a Paladin. This guy is a really good teammate when you're playing with a squad like that. It makes the game really easy. For alliance training, damage and capacity, power damage, and weapons damage. And for fitness, all shields. Alright, let's go ahead and I'll show you. I won't show you all of the female human. Like I said, you can use any gun you want. But I will show you this. Just combat drone. I like shields and damage. Rockets. Now you might think, shock, that sounds good. Detonate, that sounds good. But the reason why I don't go for these is because if you go for shields and damage, it will apply to the final effect, meaning that the rockets will do more damage. So if I was to go for this and go for that, this thing would do probably like 500 damage or 400 damage. It wouldn't be that much. So it's, in my opinion, it's better just to have the troll drone be out there, be durable, be a distraction, and shoot rockets at enemies. That's how I look at it. For this person, I go for just 5 points in alliance training, damage and capacity, power damage, and I go for 3 points into fitness. Alright, now moving on to the Quarian Engineer. She will always go down as probably one of the worst people in this game, or at least in the minds of most people. But I like her. I think she's good just because anybody that can run around and cryoblast, you're going to help out your team. So if you're just cryoblasting everything, like, you're going to help out everybody, including yourself. So that's great. I recommend the Lancer though. Collector SMG is good too, but Lancer is just a better gun. Let's face it. It has regenerating ammo, so you'll never run out of ammo. And when you're cryoblasting and incinerating everything, you'll never have to worry about ammo. Weight though, you don't want to put. I would not recommend the high velocity barrel. I would recommend just a normal piercing barrel. Alright, for sentry turret, I do have sentry turret on this build. I like the rockets, so I go for shields and damage, armor piercing ammo, and the rockets. The rockets aren't as strong as they are on the combat drone, but they still are good. You could always go for flamethrower, but it would be the same setup. Just go for the shields and damage, or armor piercing ammo, and then flamethrower. It's up to you which one you want. For incinerate, radius, burning damage, armor damage. Like I said, don't like freeze combo. I know I could get it off, but whatever. For cryoblast, radius, cryo explosion, and frozen vulnerability. For Quarian defender, damage and capacity, and power damage. And for fitness, just the a little bit of shields. It's nice. Alright, for the Silurian, I don't think I've set him up, but I do like the Harrier on him. I like a lot of guns on him, but I haven't yet to set him up, actually. I forgot to set him up. But I do like Energy Drain, obviously. Energy Drain is great. So I go for Radius, Drain, and then I go for... Really, it's up to you what you want. Armor Boost is nice, so I would recommend this probably. Maybe for him, because he's not an infiltrator. But damage, well, damage is always good as well, because it does take away more of the shields. But, you know, let's just go for Armor Boost. I do believe because he's not the infiltrator, it probably would be better because he's going to be getting shot more. I hate decoy. Nothing you can say will ever convince me to use it just because of all the camping and farming and all that people did. I just never... If you're running around the map, I just don't find decoy useful. If you're sitting in one spot, yeah, of course, it's going to be pretty useful. But if you're trying to run around, no. And my style is I like to run around. So I definitely like Incinerate. Obviously, you can get your own tech burst by energy draining and incinerating. And Incinerate is just pretty godly as well. And you can also get your own fire explosions with this guy. I do believe that is possible. If you incinerate and then you energy drain, that will cause a fire explosion more than likely. For his Silurian operative, just go for damage and capacity, power damage, and weapons damage. And for fitness, all shields. So the Silurian is a good engineer. He's one of the best. I still do think that, because with energy drain, it really will help you stay alive. With armor boost, you'll get some damage protection. You have incinerate for armor, and if as long as you're using a pretty good gun like the Harrier, Lancer, something like that, you'll do really well. Now for the Geth. For the Geth, once again, a lot of great guns. I really think the Harrier though is the best. The Harry Geth, like, it is the best for sure for him. The Lancer is good as well, so you can keep that in mind. You can try the Hurricane, that's great. Geth Plasma Shotgun is pretty good. But Harrier overall, DPS, damage is the best. But if you don't have the gun, like I said, there's a lot of options out there for you. Alright, for the Geth turret, I just go for Shield Restore and Restore Range. The purpose of this is that if you think your teammate needs some help, or if you need some help, you throw it out, you let it heal you, and that's it. Like, you don't need this whole thing. Really, you don't need that either, but you don't need this, because if you lose shields twice, just throw it out twice. The recharge time is 2 seconds, so the second it hits the ground, if you're by it, it's going to heal you. For Hunter mode, I normally would recommend weapon accuracy, but for like a gun like the Harrier or any assault rifle, you really don't need this. So I do like the power recharge, because it will make up in the end for a little bit. I'll explain that later, but I do recommend the power recharge if you're going to use a heavier gun like the Harrier or whatever. Alright, rate of fire, this will help because it increases your DPS. The more fire rate, the more damage you'll do with your gun. Damage. For overload, I like chain overload. Recharge speed, heavy gun, I like the recharge speed. And shield damage, just to help take down those shields almost all the way every time. Now, I go for weapons damage because in my mind, I think of this guy more of a weapon user. You know, he uses overload to stun and take down shields, and he shoots them to death. So I like the weapons damage, and that is the reason why I like this as well, is because for what I lose in the extra capacity, I make up for the hunter mode. That's the way I look at it. I do recommend power damage though for this field, because it will increase your damage on your overload to help you take down those shields. Holy fuck! Sorry about that, guys. Had my window open. It's hot as hell, and apparently someone wanted to speed. Anyway, so weapons damage right here, and advanced hardware just 3 points. Alrighty, let's go ahead and keep going. Quarian Male, by far probably the best engineer in the game. Really amazing. I love him. I love the Scorpion. Like, there's no, in my mind, there is no other gun for him. The Scorpion is my gun. You strap on Disruptor ammo or Incinerate ammo, and you shoot him. You hit him with that Incinerate, you'll get a tech burst, or you can just do so much with him. He is really the tech exploding master. Him and the Paladin are like some of the best tech exploders in the game. The Paladin can do tech burst cryo and fire explosions, so he is like pretty much the master, but this guy is up there with him. Alright, no tac scan. I never use it. I gotta be honest, I never use it, so I don't like it. I go for radius on this. Once again, same thing. You can set up multiple fire explosions potentially. Fire, burning damage, armor damage. Arc grenades are like damage, electrical damage, and shield overload. A lot of people like armor piercing. I like shield overload because I have Incinerate for armor. It's not going to do as much damage as the grenades, but I like to be able to take down all the shields of the enemies, guaranteed, hit them with the tech burst, and kill them. Like, this really, this pretty much guarantees me that that will happen. That I'll be able to kill all the smaller enemies in one tech burst. Now, one thing I should mention that some people might not know, the arc grenades on the Quarian males are different than the Demolisher. The default radius is 8 meters on the Quarian male. On the Demolisher, it's 6 meters. So that is something to keep in mind. Alright, now for the Quarian Defender, damage and capacity, power damage, and weapons damage, and for fitness, all shields. Alright, moving on to the Demolisher, which is a lot like the Quarian. Don't like the Demolisher though. I really don't. Once again, so much farming and all that, it just kind of puts that bad taste in my mouth. Guns. You can use 2 guns. You can use the Typhoon. You can use any of the gun you want, really. I just have the plasma shotgun up there because it is a good gun. When you're talking about grenades and powers, phantoms can be annoying. The gas plasma shotgun will take that away. You shoot them, you'll stagger them. You throw that grenade, you'll hit them. You're guaranteed to do that if you follow those steps. So gas plasma shotgun is a pretty good weapon for her. Most of the time, you'll kill enemies with your grenades anyway. So gas plasma shotgun is just there to help stagger some enemies if you need to do that. Alright, no fitness. She's real flimsy. Like, she will die a lot. You kind of need to stay back, kind of camp, all that kind of stuff with her. Running around is really not what you know, you don't have to do that. Like, and when I say camp, I don't mean like sit in a corner. I mean, you can just like hold down the top part of a map or something like that. You'll have your pylon, you might have an ammo box, so you have plenty of grenades, and you can just like, you know, throw grenades at enemies to set off explosions for your teammates and to set up tech bursts for yourself. You know, that's the way you really want to play with her. She's not really meant to be running around and doing all this crazy stuff. Like, that's not her. Alright. For supply pylon, obviously resupply is the best way to go. Power damage, I mean, there's really no point. I never stand in it anyway, so I don't really see a point of this. But if you wanted to stand in it and throw a grenade, you can. If you wanted to stand in it and shoot, you can. I never do it, though. I've never seen anyone really do it either. So, unless you're, like, doing a platinum farming thing, like in my video a long time ago. Extra grenade gives you 2 grenades out of the pylon. That's very good. Arc grenades, I go for radius because, once again, her radius is not, look at it, it's 7.8 meters with radius. I think radius is important because if you hit a bigger area, you're going to set up more tech bursts in that area, and your teammates can detonate, and you can detonate it yourself. So, and of course, it will help your team because one grenade in a bigger area potentially can take down all the shields of all the enemies. Electrical damage just gives you the ability to do the tech burst and shield overload. Same thing as before, because I have homing grenades. Homing grenades are meant to be against armor, so I go for damage, fire damage, and armor damage. Normally I like radius on homing grenades, but for her, she has these. She has the arc grenades, so she could just use them like that. So the homing grenades are really just meant for things with armor. Ravagers, brutes, bosses, all that. Alright, now for the N7 Demolisher. Damage and max grenades, power damage and power damage. I don't think it's necessary to go for the extra grenade. Grenade capacity 5, you have plenty of grenades. And she's really just meant to be throwing grenades. Alright, fuck the Volus, fuck the Adept, but I do kind of like the Volus Engineer. But I don't like recon mine on him. Nope, 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 nope. No recon mine. Reason why is because, well, the Drell. The Drell has recon mine. If you want to use recon mine, use the Drell. You're going to help everyone out way more if you use the Drell instead of him. I'm just not a fan of recon mine. But I do like the Engineer if you just proxy mine spam, like, and shield boost. Like, that's about it. Like, proxy mine's great. It debuffs enemies. It staggers enemies for yourself so you can shoot them. There you go. And the weapon for him is the Harrier. I think all Voluses should use either something very powerful like the Harrier, because it's all about that damage, damage, damage. Alright. Proxy mine, though, is radius, damage taken, recharge speed. Shield boost is shields, recharge speed, and protection. For the Volus training, I like weapons damage, power damage, just for the proxy mine. I don't need no more shield boost, but I do like this for the proxy mine. Weapons damage. Fitness, all shields. And that's about it. Like I said, recon mine on him, don't like it. On the Drell Infiltrator, oh yeah, it's good, but not on him. Recharge time's too long. Alright. Hands down, Turian Saboteur. You could use a lot of different weapons on him. It's really up to you. Hurricane's good because he's a Turian. Harrier's good. Lancer's good. You know, there's a lot of great weapons, so Collector SMG, maybe not. But like, you could use a lot of good weapons on him. It's up to you. Now, my build for him, I kind of got away from the whole sabotage thing. I didn't like it. And I actually enjoy this guy a lot more if you play him more like, I guess, a soldier in a way. I mean, the turret is nice because you throw out the turret, it distracts enemies, and you just run around and you hit enemies with... You can debuff enemies with your homing grenades. The combination of armor damage and the Cerberus Harrier is pretty ridiculous against something like a Brute. Like, you will mow that motherfucker down in a second. So, that's good. Sabotage, the recharge speed, just never liked it much. I don't know. Like, I'd rather just have the full fitness because he doesn't have, like, stim packs. So, he, you know, he just doesn't... He's not as strong as, like, the other Turians. And in general, out of all the Havocs that came out, yeah, he's probably the worst one, but you can still use him effectively. Alright, but for the turret, I like shields and damage, armor piercing ammo, and flamethrower. I like the flamethrower on this guy more because I kind of use it. It actually can be useful because the flamethrower can set up fire explosions. It doesn't happen as quickly as a lot of powers, like Flamer, for example, but it does happen. So, if you could set them up for a fire explosion, and you follow that up with a homing grenade, there you go, you'll detonate it yourself, and then you can just shoot the enemy to death. So, I like the radius, I like the fire damage, and I like the armor damage. For the Legion, I like damage and stability for the weapons. Like I said, more or less a weapon user. Power damage, he's using grenades, so yeah, definitely power damage. And damage and stability. Fitness, all shields. Of course, if you want sabotage, you could just go no shields, and, well, you're going to die a lot. Or you could just skip something like that and go for 3 points into fitness. Or you could just put 5 points into this and maybe go for backfire, recharge speed. You'll have to probably skip tech vulnerability, but that's whatever, kinda. I mean, this tech vulnerability helps your team, not so much you, so something you can think about. And you can always just put 3 points into fitness. If you want to do that, you can. But like I said, try out the Sentry Turret one. Believe me, it's pretty fun. All right, moving on to the Vorcha. This guy was such a piece of shit when he came out. Like, he was glitched. It was just like, it was like the bottom. It was just like the bottom of the barrel moment of Mass Effect to me, because every week they would come out with someone, and every week it was glitched. They would be like, oh wait, it's a little messed up. It's glitched. Retaliation was a pretty bad DLC looking back at it. The weapon for this guy is really up to you. Use anything you want. I got the Wraith on him. but I don't know. It's up to you. You know what I'll do real quick, just to show you this, because I don't think everybody knows this, but I'm sure more people are going to watch this video than they do normally my other videos, my Let's Play the Trilogy videos. Yes, I have the N7 Valkyrie X. That's bullshit. I got it 10 times since they put it in the pack. Oh my god. I got it like 4 times one day when I was playing, when my PC was broke, and I was just pissed. I look at it like, instead of the Lancer X, I got the Valkyrie X, and I don't like the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is kind of shit. Anyway, moving on to the build. Submission net, damage and slow, electrical field. Now, here's the thing. I like incapacitate more. I don't like recharge speed more, but I like incapacitate more. But this, once again, just like those sentry turrets, damage affects this at the end. It does. And that's a lot of damage. The electrical field is freaking amazing if you can get it off. Like, so you trap an enemy, you can throw an incinerate, tech burst the enemy, or shoot the enemy, it dies. The field, or the net itself, will stay on the ground. So if that's like a spawn of like 5 enemies, they'll take so much damage. It's ridiculous. It really is, because it's every second. 300 damage, 300 damage. I love submission net. I do like it, although it tends to miss a lot. For incinerate, radius, same as always. Burning damage, armor damage. For bloodlust, health regeneration, power damage, health regeneration. For his Vorcha thing, damage and capacity, that's it. Don't need to go for power damage and all this, because you do want the 4 points into fitness. This increases your health. I've talked about this before, but it increases your health to 1100. It helps you a lot in the end, so that's what I like. Alright, moving on to the final one, which is the Talon Mercenary. We all know this guy is freaking ridiculous. Alright, gun-wise, it's really up to you, but one thing I have to say, if you're going to use a gun, make sure to use a gun that is a good anti-phantom gun, especially for platinum. Because, and when I say anti-phantom, or anti-phantom, I mean plasma shotgun, alkalite. Those are good guns. Scorpion, maybe. But those are good guns. The reason why I say that is because, like, I was trying to fight. I remember I was doing some platinum with this guy, and everything was going good, but once those phantoms came, I had, like, no way of dealing with them. And I never fought against Cerberus as this guy on gold. I only ever fought against Reapers and Gaff and Collectors. I never touched Cerberus, because I knew they were going to be a nightmare. Because phantoms will absorb. So, plasma shotgun, I like a lot. And even Falcon is good, or Falcon. That's a good gun as well, because you can put the melee attachment on, you stagger them, you shoot them with your melee, and you'll kill them. But without something to stagger them, they'll always just eat it, and they'll dodge or something. Either they'll flip, or they'll eat it, and it's so annoying. So, I highly recommend using a gun that is, because when it comes down to it, you don't need a gun at all. It's really, like, the gun's there just to help you kill things like phantoms. Like, honestly, like, that's really the way I look at it. I can melee everything to death, and I can cane trip mine everything to death. So, alright, cane trip mines. It's meant to be for big groups of enemies, almost like a missile. So, radius, armor damage. On gold, this kills brutes in 2 hits, Ravengers in 1 hit. I can't explain that. The damage is 2500, and then you get 50% more damage to armor. Okay? Brutes have 13,500 armor. So I don't know how the hell this mine can kill a brute in 2 mines. I don't know, but it does. It's insane. Alright. Now for armor piercing arrows. Damage. Armor damage is great. Love this because it will help your teammates out. It debuffs the armor. And then arrow count. Elite mercenary. Power damage. Power damage. And charge generation. 20-second charge. That's not bad. It really isn't. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, all melee damage. He's real flimsy, but the melee damage is so great. I mean, you'll kill brutes in 3 hits. You'll kill, like, most enemies in 1 hit. You'll kill Ravengers in 2 hits. Banshees eat all your arrows, and that's annoying, but it's okay. Anyway, That's pretty much it, though. That's all my engineer, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like, favorite, subscribe, all that. Really appreciate it. I love you guys. See you next time.